All right, we're diving deep today into the world of brain health with all this fascinating information on Dr. Daniel Amen, interviews, research articles, we've got it all.
Yeah, it's amazing how much brain health is on everyone's mind these days.
It really is.
Like, remember, brain rot, Oxford's word of the year.
Oh, yeah.
It really hit a nerve, didn't it? Like, everyone suddenly realized, oh, this brain thing, pretty important.
Yeah, instead of just freaking out about brain rot,
Yeah.
Dr. Amen's all about empowering us, right? Optimizing our brains, no matter what our age is or what we've done in the past. And he has the experience to back it up. Over 260,000 brain scans, celebrities like Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus.
And yet, this deep dive is all about you,
Exactly.
your brain, and your goals.
I love how Dr. Amen makes brain health feel achievable
Right.
for everyone.
It's not just for, the elite or whatever.
It's for everybody.
He breaks it down into practical strategies that you can actually use.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that really struck me was his good for my brain, bad for my brain mantra.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
It's so simple,
It's so simple.
but it's such a powerful way to frame your decisions every single day.
It's like cultivating brain envy, he called it. That desire for a better brain. That becomes your motivation to change because your brain controls everything. So if you optimize your brain, you're basically optimizing your entire life.
Everything, it really does.
It's huge.
And speaking of things that are bad for your brain, Dr. Amen doesn't hold back on calling out some really shockingly common habits.
Oh, no.
So let's start with alcohol. Did you know that the U.S. Surgeon General actually wants cancer warnings on all alcohol?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stark reminder that even just moderate drinking can have a long-term consequences, for your brain health.
It's not just cancer, right? There were those visuals in one of the sources that really struck me showing a healthy brain versus an alcoholic brain.
Oh, yeah.
And the difference was scary.
It's terrifying. Yeah, the alcoholic brain, it's shrunken.
Yeah.
And it has this scalloped appearance.
Yeah.
Because even moderate drinking creates these potholes in the brain's white matter.
Like literally potholes.
And essentially, it prematurely ages the brain.
It's kind of wild that something so common could have that kind of impact.
Absolutely. And it's not just alcohol we need to be mindful of. Dr. Amen also highlights marijuana, particularly for developing brains.
Especially developing brains.
Yeah, there's this misconception that marijuana is harmless, especially among young people. But studies show that it can impair memory, decrease activity in the hippocampus, which is essential for learning and memory, and even increase the risk of mental health challenges later in life.
Right. It's not as benign as some people would have you believe.
No, not at all. And Dr. Amen's message is really clear. Protect your brain until you're 25, and they will protect you.
Love that. Protect your brain will protect you.
Exactly. And then there's sugar, the silent brain saboteur.
Sugar.
I know we all love it,
We do.
but we know it's not a health food.
Definitely not.
Did you know that the standard American diet, which is loaded with sugar and refined carbs, is linked to a 400% increased risk of Alzheimer's disease?
400%. That's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, we hear about sugar being bad, but that number really drives it home.
Yeah, and that's according to a study from the Mayo Clinic.
Wow.
It just really underscores the link between what you eat and your brain.
It all comes back to type 3 diabetes, right? Where your insulin resistance just goes haywire and it's a major threat to the brain.
Exactly.
And that's why Dr. Amen is so big on the Mediterranean diet.
Yes, he is.
Healthy fats, protein, plant-based foods. That's what your brain needs.
That's the fuel that your brain thrives on.
It's about making choices that support your brain, not just saying no to everything enjoyable.
Yeah, and speaking of things that can be harmful, we can't forget about digital addiction.
Oh, right, the screens.
The screens.
Dr. Amen's pretty vocal about how excessive gaming, pornography, and social media use can actually, deaden your brain's pleasure center.
Yeah, he talks about how it can deaden the nucleus accumbens.
Yeah, you need more and more stimulation just to feel anything.
Yeah,
And that's really dangerous for developing brains, especially.
and that's why he's so big on setting limits on screen time, especially for kids and teenagers, and encouraging other activities that are going to stimulate their brains in healthier ways.
It's all about finding balance, right?
Yeah, balance is key.
Between technology and real life experiences.
So now that we've talked about some of the enemies of brain health, let's shift gears and talk about building brain reserve,
Okay, I'm ready.
which is that buffer that we have to withstand stress.
That buffer is so important.
And this is where epigenetics gets really mind-blowing. So brain reserve actually starts building before we're even born.
What?
The experiences that our parents had, even before conception, can impact our brain health.
So you're saying like the stress my mom experienced while she was pregnant with me could be affecting my brain today.
It's wild, right?
That's both amazing and a little bit unsettling.
It really is. It highlights how important it is to create a healthy environment for ourselves and for future generations.
Absolutely.
But don't worry, even if your parents weren't living their most zen lives while you were in the womb, there's still plenty you can do to build brain reserve throughout your life.
Okay, good, because I'm starting to get a little worried there.
And Dr. Amen is just bursting with recommendations.
I bet.
And his enthusiasm is contagious.
I can imagine.
So first up, supplements.
Okay.
He's a big proponent of a good multivitamin,
Makes sense.
optimizing vitamin D levels. And get this, omega-3s. Apparently, most of us are deficient.
Really? Omega-3s are so important for brain function.
Yeah, and they're often lacking in the modern diet.
It's true, we don't eat enough fish.
He also
Sure.
mentioned saffron.
Saffron. Interesting.
Yeah, it's supposedly as effective as SSRIs for mood, but it enhances sexual function instead of hindering it.
Well, that's a nice bonus.
Sign me up, right?
It's good to know there are natural alternatives out there.
There really are. And then there's exercise,
Ah, exercise, the magic bullet.
the magic bullet for pretty much everything,
Pretty much.
including brain health.
Of course.
Walking just 45 minutes 4 times a week is as effective as antidepressants in treating depression, according to Dr. Amen.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
It is. And if you want to really wake up your brain, he recommends coordination exercises like pickleball.
Pickleball. That's fun.
It is fun.
I like that he's suggesting something enjoyable.
Me too. And he says it not only boosts the frontal lobes, but also activates the cerebellum, which can get a little bit sluggish if we don't challenge it.
Right, it's like a workout for your brain.
So what physical activities could you incorporate into your routine?
I have to think about that.
It doesn't have to be pickleball, but finding something you enjoy that gets you moving is key.
Absolutely, movement is medicine.
And then don't forget about mindfulness.
Oh, yes, mindfulness. Dr. Amen is a big fan of that KYTN KRIYA meditation, right?
Yes, he is.
Which only takes 12 minutes.
Perfect for busy people like us.
It's amazing how even a little bit of meditation can have such a positive impact on your brain,
And it strengthens the frontal lobes,
which he calls the CEO of your brain.
the CEO of your brain, and it calms the emotional brain.
So important.
And finally, he emphasizes the importance of learning new things.
Yeah, keep that brain challenged.
He says stagnation is a risk factor for Alzheimer's.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that.
So to recap, we've got supplements, exercise, mindfulness, learning new things.
It's a holistic approach to brain health,
It is.
and it's something we can all start doing today.
Absolutely. It's not about being perfect. It's about taking those small steps in the right direction.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
Every little step you take towards optimizing your brain is a step towards a healthier, happier, more fulfilling life.
I love that. A healthier, happier, and more fulfilling life. Before we move on, I want to go back to something you said earlier. Those ANTs,
Oh, yeah.
automatic negative thoughts.
Those pesky ANTs.
I know I struggle with those.
Me too.
And I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, for sure.
What's interesting is they're not just annoying, they actually decrease activity in your prefrontal cortex, which impacts your motivation, focus, mood, everything.
Right, so it's not just about feeling bad, it's actually affecting how your brain functions.
Exactly.
So getting rid of them, that gotta be key for good brain health.
It's essential.
But how do we do that?
Well, Dr. Amen, he has this amazing 5-question process for killing ANTs.
Okay, I'm listening. I need this.
I've used it. It's super helpful.
Great, tell me.
So first, you write down the negative thought. So let's say your thought is, I'm going to mess up this presentation.
Oh, I've been there.
Right, we've all been there.
Totally.
And then you ask yourself these 5 questions. Number 1, is it true?
Okay,
Number 2, is it absolutely true, like with 100% certainty?
got it.
Number 3, how does this thought make me feel? How does it make me act? What's the outcome of believing this thought?
Okay.
Number 4, how would I feel if I didn't have this thought? How would I act? What would be the outcome?
Interesting.
And number 5, turn the thought to its opposite. Is that true?
Ooh, I like that twist.
Right.
So you're basically forcing your brain to see things from a different perspective.
Exactly. And it really reveals how irrational a lot of those negative thoughts are.
I can see that.
So in this example, when you ask yourself if it's absolutely true that you're going to mess up this presentation, the answer is probably no.
Yeah, probably not.
Right. And when you think about how you'd feel if you didn't have that thought, you'd likely be more relaxed, confident, and present.
Yeah, and the outcome of not having the thought Probably a much better presentation.
Exactly. It's a powerful reminder that we have a choice in how we respond to our thoughts.
You really do.
We don't have to let those ANTs take over.
We have the power to control them.
Exactly.
And Dr. Amen doesn't stop there. He has other ANT killing strategies too.
He does.
He talks about positivity bias training.
Oh, yeah. Starting each day with the affirmation, today is going to be a great day.
Love it.
And then at night, reflecting on what went well.
So you're training your brain to focus on the positive instead of getting stuck in the negative.
Exactly. And he also emphasizes hope,
Oh, yes.
which he defines as tomorrow can be better and I have a part in it.
I love that definition.
It's so empowering.
It is. It gives you that sense of agency.
Yeah. And combats that learned helplessness that can come with those negative thought patterns.
It's like you're taking back control of your life.
You really are.
So we've talked about optimizing our own brains, but what about raising healthy brains? I know you're a parent. So what does Dr. Amen have to say about that?
He's a big believer in leading by example.
Of course, kids learn by watching us.
More than what we tell them. So the best way to raise kids with resilient brains is to model those healthy behaviors yourself.
Right, if you're stressed out all the time, glued to your phone, reaching for the sugary snacks, your kids are going to pick up on that.
They are.
But it's not just about what we don't do.
Right.
It's about what we do.
It is. And he has some great specific tips for parents, like setting aside 20 minutes a day for special time with their child.
Oh, that's nice.
No distractions, no commands, just focused, undirected time to connect.
Just being present with them,
Exactly. And he also talks about active listening,
which we talked about earlier.
repeating back what your child says, focusing on the feelings behind those words.
Really making them feel heard and understood.
Exactly. And then there's the don't rescue rule.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
This one can be tough for some parents, but he says it's crucial for building character and self-esteem.
So it's about letting kids struggle, letting them solve their own problems,
Resisting that urge to jump in and fix everything for them.
because that's how they learn and grow.
Exactly.
So it's tough love, but in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. I remember him sharing his tough love rule, which is if you have a tantrum to get your way, the answer is no.
It's about setting those boundaries
It is.
and teaching them that their behavior has consequences
But it's also about empowering them
to be more resilient.
to develop their own problem-solving skills.
So we've gone from optimizing our own brains to raising healthy brains. But Dr. Amen doesn't stop there, does he?
He doesn't.
He takes it a step further.
He does.
He talks about creating a more brain-healthy world.
He does. It's a big goal,
It is a big goal.
but I think it's one worth striving for.
Absolutely.
And it all starts with recognizing that brain health is essential, not just for individual well-being, but for the well-being of our communities and society as a whole.
It's all interconnected.
It really is. He talks about the need to prioritize brain health in all areas of life: education, healthcare, workplaces, even our political systems.
Imagine a world where policymakers actually consider the impact of their decisions on brain health.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is.
What if schools prioritize teaching kids about brain health from a young age?
What if workplaces offered brain-boosting benefits like mindfulness programs or healthy food options?
It's a fascinating vision,
It is.
and it speaks to that interconnectedness of everything.
When we prioritize brain health, we're not just improving individual lives, we're creating a more compassionate, just, and equitable society.
I love that. I think it's something we can all contribute to, even in small ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's talking to our friends and family about brain health,
Right.
supporting organizations that are doing great work in this area,
Absolutely.
or advocating for policies that promote cognitive well-being.
We all have a role to play.
Really do. He even
Yeah.
talks about voting for brain-healthy candidates who understand the importance of investing in brain research
Yeah.
and creating supportive environments for brain development.
It's a reminder that our choices have ripple effects,
They do.
and we can use our voices to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive cognitively. I'm really inspired by Dr. Amen's work and his passion for brain health.
It's contagious, isn't it?
It really is.
It's amazing how Dr. Amen connects those individual strategies with this, big picture of a brain-healthy world.
And that's what makes this deep dive so relevant, right?
Totally.
We've talked about the steps you can take to improve your own brain.
Right.
We've also talked about how important it is to advocate for a world that actually supports, cognitive well-being for everybody.
What part of Dr. Amen's work resonated most with you?
That's a good question.
Was it a specific strategy for improving your own brain health?
Yeah.
Or was it his broader vision for a brain-healthy world?
I think for me, it was really his emphasis on how interconnected brain health is with just overall well-being.
Right.
It's not just about, thinking clearly or preventing cognitive decline.
Yeah.
It's about feeling good, having good relationships, and living a meaningful life.
It really is. I completely agree.
And that brings us back to one of his, core
Which
principles.
is purpose,
Purpose.
yes.
Living with purpose.
He believes that's essential for a fulfilling life
Yeah.
and can even help protect our brains.
Against cognitive decline.
Yeah, it makes
That
sense.
does.
When we have that sense of purpose, we're more likely to take care of ourselves, engage in meaningful activities.
Connect with others. All things that support good brain health.
He challenges us to ask ourselves, what is your unique contribution to making the world a better place? So I want to leave our listeners with a challenge.
Okay.
Take one concrete action this week to improve your brain health.
One thing.
One thing. It could be trying a new brain-boosting recipe, scheduling a walking date with a friend,
Oh, good one.
or even just having a conversation about brain health with someone you care about.
I like it.
Those small changes can make a big difference.
They really can.
Every step you take towards optimizing your brain is a step towards a healthier, happier, and more fulfilling life.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe you'll inspire someone else to do the same.